Welcome to the ninth seminar for English teaching professionals entitled Spice It Up, Innovative Activities for Your Class. Today we have the honor of hosting Ana Lucia Fallas Naranjo, a distinguished presenter who recently led an insightful workshop titled Maximizing English Language Learning Through STEAM-Driven Project-Based Strategies. In this interview, we will summarize the key points from her session and discuss the importance of integrating STEAM, science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics, with PBL, project-based learning, to enhance the instruction of English as a foreign language. Before getting into the actual interview, I want to share some biographical information about our presenter. Ana Lucia Fallas Naranjo is an experienced English teacher currently working with both the Universidad Estatal de Distancia and the Ministry of Public Education in Costa Rica. She holds a bachelor's degree in English teaching from the University of Costa Rica and a licentiate degree from Universidad Americana. Since beginning her teaching career in 2019, Ana Lucia has developed a strong interest in English as a foreign language and language evaluation. Her professional journey includes teaching English for specific purposes, particularly in fields such as accounting, which has enriched her approach to language instruction with practical, real-world applications. Ana Lucia is passionate about creating meaningful learning experiences and is committed to continuous professional growth. In the seminar, she shared insights from her teaching practice and explored innovative strategies in the field of English language education. We will now get into the questions we have for you just to learn a little bit more through this brief interview. So, my first question for you is what motivated you to merge STEAM, science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics, and PBL, project based learning, as a strategy for enhancing English language instruction?
Thank you. Well, my first motivation, of course, was my daily work, right? Since the beginning of this year, I started working in three different public institutions, and all of them use this STEAM approach. So I was like, what am I gonna do, right? So I started um, like receiving trainings about the topic and researching about this approach and looking for strategies. How am I going to implement this in my classroom and in my lesson planning? And that's how I discovered that the PBL, the project-based learning, with the STEAM approach, it's a perfect combination for me um, to evaluate my students, give them opportunities and good environments to use the language, and um, and I think it's a good strategy for them to not only teach them isolated grammar structures, vocabulary, and things like that, because both of them, PBL and the STEAM approach, use real context. And that's what motivated me to blend these two in my lesson planning.
Thank you for sharing that with us. I'm going to go ahead and go to our second question. So, could you walk us through an example of a STEAM-based project that effectively integrates language objectives with real-world problem solving?
Yeah, sure. So I'm gonna explain the project that I did this year with my seventh graders. And the unit is about getting back to nature. So what we want is that students explore natural wonders here in Costa Rica, um, and they come up with a product. It doesn't matter what kind of product they invented, right, or they created, but it was the use of the science, technology, engineering, arts, and math in this project to promote um, environmental awareness, and of course the use of language through the use of language in the project. So the first thing that we as teachers have to do is to identify the problem. So I told them, you have to choose one natural wonder in your community, in here in La Zona de Los Santos, where we are located. And you have to choose this location and identify what aspects, what factors are impacting this natural wonder. And then we start linking science related to ecosystems, and I gave them a driven question or two different driven questions. It was the first one, how can we protect this natural wonder while promoting sustainable or tourism or any type of tourism, and what makes this specific location special, and how can we raise awareness to protect it? Then this is more like the third phase is more student-centered, and they had to research about the ecosystem, about the contamination or the pollution that is affecting this area. And they start collecting data such as statistics, graphics from institutions, municipalities, things like that. And they had to use also math in order to estimate the costs of different, I don't know, possibilities to solve this problem. Or they had to collect data from distances from this specific natural wonder to maybe a landfill or things like that related to the problems that were affecting this natural wonder. Then comes the part in which students can or start plan and design a project or that final product that they have to present. And we had products such as videos, infographics, storybooks, games, and they implement scientific data, math data, the engineering ideas where how can we create this model? How are we going to solve this problem? That's how engineering is implemented here or included. Of course, the English language use and some artistic elements such as the visual part of the presentation. They create and develop the solution. Here we incorporate all this put together, and then we present and share, which is in the way we use the language, we communicate, and we can use technology as well. And the last phase is to reflect and improve. And in this phase, what the students do is that we sit down and we discuss what could have been better, or how can we improve this prototype, for example, or how can we maybe share this infographic that we designed with different people, different institutions in the community. So that's like a basic example of how we can implement STEAM, the STEAM approach, and the project-based learning in our classroom.
Well, it seems like there's a lot, that goes into that integration of that in the language classroom. So maybe that can bring us to our next question. What challenges might teachers face when trying to implement interdisciplinary projects in language classes? And then how can they overcome those challenges?
Yeah, so I think the first challenge, and that's the one that I had at the beginning of the year, is like lack of information. So we have to look for trainings, information, read a lot about how we can do this. And something that I learned is that you don't have to complicate yourself. This is not as complicated as you think, because if we think about science, we say like physics, biology, chemistry, but that's not the only one, right? So we have social sciences, our language sciences, and things like that. So that's something that we have to keep in mind and as a solution, right? So yeah, and this it could be sometimes some difficulties regarding the assessment because teachers don't know how to implement this, or they don't know how to evaluate this in the classrooms. And my my ideas about solutions could be if you can collaborate across disciplines. You can collaborate with your science colleague, your science teacher in the institution you're teaching. You can collaborate with the math teacher. For example, if in math they are I don't know, maybe doing a budget or they are reviewing statistics, use that information in your project. And that is one of our advantages because we have content, we have topics, and we can create a lot of things, different things, in the classroom. And what else? And you can start small. Do these mini projects at the end of the units that, for example, that's what we do in the public institutions. At the end of every unit, we have a mini project. Do those mini projects focus on the STEAM approach, and little by little, you will be implementing this in your daily life. Yeah.
You talked about collaboration, and I think that helps us to get us to that next question that I have is how does the integration of STEAM and PBL encourage us as teachers to rethink our roles, not just as language instructors in the classroom, but as facilitators of inquiry and innovation?
Yeah. So integrating STEAM and project-based learning methodology gives you the opportunity to not just transmit your knowledge, the vocabulary, and the grammar structures. You become um, a mentor. You become a facilitator of this inquiry in the during in the project. And something that I like is that you promote the investigation, this like this desire to look for solutions, which is something that we do in the STEAM approach, is that we try to look for solutions for different problems that we have right now. And it could be challenging, of course, but we in a certain way, we give the students the control because it's free. We don't say, okay, the final result is going to be an oral presentation, or it's going to be a video, or I don't know, something like that. No, they have the opportunity to choose the final product. Me, as a teacher, my role as a teacher is that I'm giving them the problem and the questions. You have to collect the information and do what is best based on your ideas and opinions.
And our last question for you, when working with hands-on activities, what strategies do you suggest for aligning STEAM content with specific language outcomes?
All right. So, regarding the strategies, I would say that we look for um, instruction that is based on collaboration. We need to use real life scenarios and use of technology if it's possible. Some students have more possibilities than others, so maybe we can take advantage of this. And I know we have some limitations in the institutions, but we have to take advantage of everything that we have. We should, of course, provide everything that is based on content, grammar, um, and vocabulary for them to implement this. And as well, assign team roles. That is something that I do because some of the students have like they have strong um, skills in the art part, and these are better for technology. And so knowing your students, allow you to assign different roles during the project, and that's an advantage and a strategy that you can use to implement this. Facilitate feedback sessions. At the end, it's very enriching that the students can share their ideas and like the final product. And also, it's interesting how they, at the end of the project, they say, "Teacher, I want more activities like this," because we give them the power um, and to explore different things at the end. And my last strategy would be that we should use self-assessment, peer assessment, for them to get used to this different assessment in because it's very reflective. This process is very reflective, and that's how life is, right? When we're working and that we have to solve problems every day. So, and that would be my recommendations.
Well, I just want to thank you so much, Ana Lucia, for sharing your insights on maximizing English language learning through the use of STEAM-driven project-based strategies. Your expertise has encouraged us to try to evolve our role as English teachers in the classroom and incorporate other important disciplines in the form of projects in the language learning classroom. For more information on the topics covered in this seminar, please visit our website. The details are available on the screen.